Hi everyone. In today's video, we are going to discuss the concept of tokenization and how the same can be implemented in Oracle Analytics Server or Oracle Analytics Cloud. So before moving forward, let's understand what tokenization is. So tokenization is basically a process of breaking down a stream of textual input data into small chunks that are referred as tokens or topics. Now, we might wonder where this concept of tokenization is really used. So, you would have seen that whenever you visit some retail outlet or visit some website, you often are asked about a certain feedback, or you have to fill a certain feedback form. Now, what these retail outlets or these businesses do is they take that feedback that you have given as a customer or a consumer, and they do two type of analytics on it. One is the sentimental or sentiment analytics. In sentiment analytics, what they do is based on the feedback that you have given, they gauge what is the mood of a consumer, whether the consumer was positive, whether the consumer was neutral, or whether the consumer was pessimistic about the services they have incurred. This is called sentiment analytics. The second one is tokenization. So in tokenization, what they do is they break down those feedbacks into key or top 10, 15, 50 chunks or topics or tokens as we are referring here. And then based on those top 10 or 20 tokens, they further drill down into the actual feedback and decide whether they really need to consider those feedbacks, or they can simply ignore it, or they need to do some changes, or they need to make some strategic call based on the feedback that they are receiving from the customer about the services they are providing. So this is one classic example where your sentiment analysis or sentiment analytics or your tokenization comes into picture. So in today's video, we are going to discuss how this tokenization can be implemented in OAS or OAC. So for the purpose of this demo, I have already created a data set. So as you can see here, I have created this or already imported this data set feedback data. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a quick data flow to load this feedback data into my database. So I'll save this. I'll rename it as DS feedback. I'll give the target as database connection. Database name I'll give as TBL feed. I'll select the connection as ADW admin. It is not necessary to have ADW only for this activity. You can perform this tokenization even on your on-premise database as well. I'll change the table name as, I think I have already given it as TBL feed. So let me replace the same here, TBL feed, df underscore feed. And let's run this data flow. The data flow generally should not take more than 5 to 10 seconds because the data in my data set is not huge. All right, my data flow is completed now. So let's quickly go to the database and see whether I can see this table created or not. Okay, so I'm just firing a simple select command here. Okay, so the data is inserted in my database. Now, the next step we have to do is we have to create a token index on it. So I have already noted down the command to create this token index. It is create index token index on table name. So in my case, the table name is TBL underscore feed, and the column name is customer remarks. So let's run this command. Okay, the token index is created. Now the next step we have to do is, as part of this token index creation, it creates four dollar tables in my database. Out of those four, I need to import a $I object that is already created, and I need to create a data set on top of it. So let's switch back to OAS screen, and let's create a data set on top of it. So I'll go to create data set. I'll use ADW admin because this is the schema where it is created. Admin, and this is it. So if you see here, it has created token index $I, $K, $N, $U. So of these, I'm going to create a token index or I'm going to create a data set on this $I object. So I have double clicked on this $I, and now the data set is getting created. Let's save this data set as ds underscore token. Okay, my data set is saved successfully. Now let's create a workbook on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select token count and token text. And I'm going to select this token count in my filter section. And I'm going to change the filter type to top, bottom, N, where I will select top 10 tokens. Now let's change this visualization to tag cloud. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color by token count. Superb. So if you see here, what this graph is telling me is what are the top 10 tokens that are referenced by my feedback given by the customer in my data set. So the tokenization, what it has done is it has figured out what are the top 10 topics or top 10 words that the customer is talking about in their feedback. So to show this quickly in a separate visualization, let me duplicate it and let me change it to a tabular format, and let me sort it by token count high to low. For this one, let me remove this color. Okay, so as you can see, these are the words or the tokens that are referenced frequently, and the token count is the number of times it has been referenced. So this kind of graph or this kind of tokenization will help business in finding out what key topics the customer is talking about. And then if they're really interested to drill down further, they can always go back to the actual feedback and take a strategic decision on top of it. So this is one way you can create a tokenization, wherein we have created a index in the database and created a data set on top of it and did a tokenization graph. Another way to do it is by bypassing the database index that we have created and actually leverage the inbuilt capability of the OAS tool. So let's go back. I'm not saving this workbook now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a data set, and this data set will be on top of the table where we loaded the data from the CSV file that we had. So I'm going back to admin again. And this is the table where we loaded the data initially through a data flow. So I'm creating a data set on top of this table that is there in the database. Let me save this as tbl underscore feed. Okay. Now I'm creating a data flow. I will take this tbl feed as a input, I'll save the data. I'll say database analytics. So in database analytics, you'll see that there is a option for text tokenization. I'm going to select that. My text column is customer remarks. My reference column is let's say complaint number. I'll select top 10 tokens. My language I'll select as English. Save the data. So let me delete the save data as a step. Okay, it's giving some sort of error. So let's debug. I'm deleting this again. I'll select reference column as customer remarks. I'm not selecting reference column 2 or 3 as they are not required. Select save data. Let me delete this again. Let me delete the database analytics as well. So my input is customer number and my input is the table that I have selected from TBL feed. Okay. Then I'm selecting save data. And in the save data, let me give some name as ds underscore token underscore underscore 2 just as a dummy name. I'm changing database storage to database connection. I'm selecting the connection as ADW admin. My table, I'll give the same name. Then I'll add database analytics and text tokenization. Let me select the text column as customer remarks and reference column as customer number. Top 10. I'm saving this as df token underscore 2 and I'm running this data flow now. Okay, my data flow is completed now. So let's go back to the data set that is created, ds token 2, and create a workbook. So in this again, I'm going to do the same thing that I did in my earlier workbook. I'm going to select the occurrence and token text, and I'm going to select it in the form of a tag cloud. And I can change the color either by token text or occurrence, whichever way you want to do it. But if you see, this has also given me the tokens or the key topics that customer is talking about in the feedback dataset that I had. So both the steps or both the ways in which we have done the tokenization is resulting in the same output. It is just that in the first approach, we have created a token index and then created a data set on top of it. So it involves some communication with the database. In the second, we are actually leveraging the inbuilt capability of the product. So using this, you can create your tokenization in Oracle Analytics Server or Oracle Analytics Cloud. I hope this quick session on tokenization, how to create or how to create a visualization around it was helpful to you. If you have any questions around it, please drop them in the comment section. Thank you so much.